Hey, welcome back everyone. It is now the beginning of August of 2022, and not only are we approaching other Star Wars TV shows out there like Star Wars Andor, Bad Batch 2, as well as Tales of the Jedi, a lot of fans out there are very excited for The Mandalorian Season 3, as well as the Ahsoka Tano series for next year. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you are new to the channel for future Star Wars updates. Also, by the way guys, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you also very much for the kind support. It is greatly appreciated. Now, one thing about the new Star Wars universe is that yes, we do have Jon and Dave Filoni all working together as a team to really enhance the Star Wars experience and to give the fans something truly exciting to look forward to. Now, obviously, we know that everything that Jon and Dave are currently working on is going to be taking a lot of aspects from Star Wars Legends and throwing it into the Disney canon. And that's basically their game plan right now. They want to make sure that they can really give the fans what they have been asking for the past number of years. And everything related to the Ahsoka series, The Mandalorian Season 3 and 4, it's going to accomplish a lot about that. Now, with that being said, however, what's even all the more exciting has a lot to do with the fact of what's been going on with a major project that Disney CEO Bob Chapek recently greenlit, as well as the Disney executives and what they are allowing to do to further expand the Mandoverse in ways that fans could never really imagine. Now, on top of all of this, what's really exciting has everything to do with what Favreau and Filoni have been pitching to Disney since 2019 that is now finally going into fruition, and we talked about this a little bit yesterday, and we will be diving more into it today. Now, this of course involves this new sequel trilogy in a sense that is currently in development, that they plan to begin, of course, production by 2025 to get this thing rolling out either into theaters or on Disney+. They're currently undecided. Now, with Filoni now working on the Ahsoka series, where he holds full creative power over that show, and Jon Favreau busy with Mando 3 and 4, Lucasfilm is now very involved with a brand new Star Wars project that is described to actually be the new sequel trilogy of movies that will focus on expanding the Mandoverse into 3 Star Wars movies featuring all of the beloved characters from the franchise. Now, this new Star Wars sequel trilogy that is currently being developed by both Favreau and Filoni in the early stages are said to take place 6 years after the events of the Ahsoka series, is the current plan to focus on the completion of Luke Skywalker's Jedi Temple and the addition of his new Jedi students. Favreau and Filoni are also planning to bring in a new story from Mara Jade into the new sequel trilogy of Star Wars to develop her character into becoming a true ally to Luke Skywalker, where Mara Jade is set to make an appearance also in The Mandalorian Season 4, along with Kyle Katarn. However, with this new sequel trilogy plan that Favreau and Filoni have in place, they are going to fully focus on Legends characters strictly and the returning Mandoverse characters as well. Both Mando 3 and 4, as well as the Ahsoka series, is said to be used as a tease of what's to come for the new trilogy, and that by the end of Season 4 from Mando, Jon and Dave are planning to use that as a launching pad to officially reveal the first set of footage for the new sequel trilogy movies. Now, Disney executives are all prepared to announce this thing at Star Wars Celebration next year, and that many of George Lucas's stories from Star Wars Legends that he had approved will be, of course, used in these new Star Wars movies. The addition of Mara Jade is set to be portrayed by actress Karen Gillan in both The Mandalorian Season 4, as well as the new sequel trilogy of Star Wars. Now, let me just pause here for a second. Now, we talked about this a little bit yesterday, and very lightly, of course, months and months ago, that Favreau and Filoni wanted to make this happen ever since 2019. So let's just, make that clear that this really has been being pushed by Favreau and Filoni from the very beginning to actually create something new, in the theatrical sense. Now, they're currently undecided on if they want to put this into the theaters or if they want to throw this on the Disney Plus streaming service. That is something that is really not touched on or made concrete just yet. They're not quite sure exactly how they're going to push this thing out, because let's face it, everything due to the theaters right now, it seems like a lot of film companies right now are very, not all that confident of doing that all the time. So a couple years from now, things can absolutely change. So with that being said, we talked about this yesterday of how they are doing this in a sense to create a new sequel trilogy, but it's not going to essentially replace episodes 7, 8, and 9, but it will be labeled as a sequel trilogy because it is going to be a series of films that will be based after the events of Return of the Jedi, and they plan to make this a very big budget project, just as big of a budget as the sequel trilogy films, alright, that we actually got with 7, 8, and 9. They want to make them very much theatrical, very much cinematic, very movie-like, if you will, even more so than Star Wars Andor, which, by the way, has that theatrical look to it all, because they've had a bigger budget in comparison to The Mandalorian, for an example. So moving on from all of this, alright, this is where things begin to escalate, is that Favreau and Filoni are currently crafting a story that will involve Thrawn holding a big secret about Palpatine and the dark side of the Force. Not only will they be focusing on a new war, but also about new secrets that lie within a place called Mount Tantiss, a place for big experiments done by the remnants of the Empire that is planned already to be featured in the new sequel trilogy films. Favreau and Filoni are treating these new movies as a heir to the Empire trilogy, with elements of other books from Legends mixed in with it all, to make it truly an original yet familiar experience for hardcore fans. Also, these new films are set to bring in a brand new villain that will work alongside Thrawn, that will also be teased in Mando 4, that was taken directly from Legends, and will be put into a new timeline for the Mandoverse films, that will actually hold tons of new stories for Luke Skywalker. Creators George Lucas is set, of course, to actually use already established lore, and to actually act as a co-writer as well for these new Star Wars films that Disney plans to announce at this year's Star Wars Celebration, or next year's, I should say, depending on the time frame of when they plan to actually complete plans for all of this and how it's going to be branded as far as titles go. So the thing about this too that I think a lot of fans need to be very well aware of is that they will be taking a lot of elements from Star Wars Legends, from the Thrawn trilogy, Dark Empire, Heir to the Empire, and all those things. So basically the general idea though, the general sense, is to make this a live-action Heir to the Empire trilogy, with a lot of other stories thrown into the mix, to make it something new and unique and rather different than what we got in Legends. So, Favreau and Filoni seem to be keeping their promise. I mean, they're really sticking to their guns here. They're really making sure that they're going to really deliver to the fans, and granted that they have a lot of promotions now over at Lucasfilm, they are able to do pretty much whatever they want, besides what's being worked on with Skeleton Crew and the Acolyte TV show. Of course, they were not involved with Star Wars Andor, so that show in and of itself, who knows how that's going to turn out. Tony Gilroy, we'll have to wait and see exactly what he does with that show from start to finish. But overall, guys, let me know what you guys have to say about this entire process and about this new project that is now in the early development phase. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.
From night to moon, we hear them moans again. No.